If you struggle when making your morning cup of coffee, then you should avoid making these common mistakes that are often seen most of the beginner baristas and home baristas make while making their coffee using the espresso machine.
Let me explain myself.
The most biggest percentage of coffee lovers have their coffee in the morning. This is why it's very important to you as a home barista or as a beginner barista to know the key steps that you need to take to make a great cup of coffee which is perfect and consistent each time using your espresso machine like a professional barista. Hi, I'm the Barista. I am a professional barista who loves sharing my coffee knowledge and experiences with you to help you make a great cup of coffee. And today I'm going to be taking you through the key steps that professional baristas take when they are making their morning cup of coffee using the espresso machine. This is going to help you improve on the way you're making your cup of coffee as a home barista or as a beginner barista by fixing the common mistakes that you're making while using your espresso machine to make your cup of coffee. You need to power on the espresso machine as the first thing, so that the espresso machine can boil up the water to reach the perfect brew temperature for making your cup of coffee. Just keep in mind, different espresso machines require different amount of time to boil up the water to reach the perfect brew temperature for brewing a perfect cup of coffee. The next is the storage of your coffee beans. Coffee beans need to be stored very well. This is why we remove our coffee beans from the coffee bean hopper, store them in a sealed bag, then in the morning we put them back in the coffee bean hopper so that we can be able to make our perfect cup of coffee. This helps in preventing too much degassing of the coffee bean, which may result into the dropping of the quality of your espresso, which is going to result into an espresso with no creamer and no flavor in it. At this time, the espresso machine has reached the perfect brew temperature for making our espresso. Then I'm going to purge the espresso machine. This helps in flushing out the water that might not be of the right temperature, but also in warming up the group head and the pot filter to keep the consistency when we are making our espresso. Remember to also purge the steaming one to remove the remaining air which has resulted into water, so that we can have a fresh steam when we are steaming our milk for making latte art. After having our espresso machine and the coffee grinder ready, we start by grinding small amount of coffee beans. These are the coffee beans which were remaining in the coffee blades. Then start our full process of making our shot of espresso. If you're a coffee lover, you know how important it is to make a good shot of espresso when making your coffee. First thing, you're going to need a good recipe for making your espresso, where you're going to follow the dose, the yield out, and the time of brewing your espresso. I have made a full video guiding you through this full process on understanding how you can make a great shot of espresso, which I'll link in the description below. Watch it after this video. But for this video, I'm going to guide you in the most basic way of making a perfect shot of espresso. This is the espresso brew ratio that we're going to use while we are making our espresso. We're going to use a 1:2 brew ratio for our espresso. We start by weighing our pot filter so that we can be able to measure our dose. We are using a dose of 20 grams of grounded coffee beans. After grinding our coffee beans, we weigh it to prove it's 20 grams. Then distribute our coffee using the distribution tool. After distributing our coffee grinds, then next we're going to tamp our coffee grinds to create that compact bed. Tamping is one of the most important things that you need to master perfectly, because if done wrong, you're going to end up with a bad extraction of your espresso. So you're going to need to learn how to tamp perfectly and consistent to have that even extraction of your espresso. Then we're going to start extracting our espresso. We weigh our yield out for our espresso, but also time our espresso to follow our brew timing of our espresso to have that perfect extraction of our espresso. Stop your espresso extraction on 38 so that the last drop of your espresso will be at 40 ml. This is going to be your final yield out of your espresso on your total brew time of 25 to 30 seconds. Test your espresso to see if it's the perfect test. So after achieving the perfect taste of your espresso, then you can make other coffee drinks. For this video, we're going to be making a latte. We start with grinding our coffee beans and extracting our shot of espresso. Since we are having that even extraction, then next we're going to steam our milk to create a perfect latte art on our latte. We're going to be using the full fat milk. This is the right milk that you need to start with if you want to be able to learn to steam your milk very well and also create that perfect milk texture for making a good latte art. But remember, before starting your steaming process, you need to purge your steaming one to remove the remaining air which has resulted into water in your steaming one. This is going to help you have the fresh steam to be able to inject into your milk and create a good silky texture for making the best latte art on your cup of coffee. Milk steaming is one of the most important skills that you need to learn and master perfectly if you want to be able to create a good latte art on your cup of coffee. I have also made a full video guiding you through on how you can steam milk perfectly for making a good latte art, which you can check out after this video also in the comment section below. After steaming our milk perfectly and having that silky texture, then we're going to make our latte art. This is an inverted swan latte art design, one of my favorite. We start by making tulips. As inverted, then you turn your cup, then you pour one pour, then create the body of the swan, then go down, create a neck of a swan, then create the head of the swan. This is how you can make an inverted swan latte art. This is a bit of an advanced latte art design, but by practicing and following this simple step, you can create this good latte art on your cup of coffee with no time, like a professional barista. Working as a barista, one of the biggest advice I would give to anyone who wants to make the best cup of coffee. Learning to make a cup of coffee, it takes time and consistent practice. So you can rewatch this video again, choose where your weaknesses are and focus and fix one by one mistake until you can make a perfect cup of coffee. So this is how you can make the best cup of coffee and improve your latte art skills. If you want to know more about how you can make a better latte art, you should check out this video next. It's a full guide on how you can learn the first beginner steps on making your basic latte art designs.